Hi and welcome to Ready Rhino 1. This is Ryan and today I'll be starting a playthrough of Factorio. Factorio is a pretty interesting game. I started getting into this back when it was in version 11 or 12. I don't remember. It was probably about a month or so before they released it on Steam. So it was still much in an early access beta version. Released to Steam early access rather. And I'd gotten into it because at the time I was really into incremental games, and so this one was kind of brought up in one of the subreddits, one of the incremental games subreddits, and someone suggested it as being like a pretty deep incremental like game. And so I looked at some of the videos of it, and I was like, oh, it's like $20 or 15 or something like that. So I was like, yeah, I'll pick it up. And it was an amazing investment, honestly. Even for early access, the game was just solid. I know it might be anecdotal, but I think the game crashed on me maybe twice in the entire time that I have been playing it. And I put a ridiculous amount of hours into it. I bought the game directly through Wuba software, however you pronounce it, and then later linked it to my Steam account. But it has been a really fascinating game. I've really enjoyed it, and so I was wanting to kind of go through and do like a playthrough of it. A lot has changed since it has gone obviously to 1.0, and this is actually version 1.1, as you can see. So for the settings, one of the ways I like to play is I like to have the frequency, size, and richness up on all the different resources. I mean, having to do rails and stuff isn't bad, and it's actually kind of fun. But when you have to do it, it becomes kind of like a little weird. Having to transport stuff around, it makes the game a lot slower. But if that's what you want, that's obviously totally fine. In terms of terrain, I am not a fan of cliffs. I know that you can produce dynamite kind of thing to destroy the cliffs later on, but it's not really something that I really like. I feel like it gets in the way. If you're looking for like a challenge, obviously that's something you probably would want to do. For sure, enemies. I don't really like the enemies. I just like building the factories and scaling things up. There is obviously a challenge, as you can see in the background. There is a whole other layer of challenge that is introduced when you have enemies. It can be a little annoying at times. It makes progression a little slower. They aren't necessarily difficult, but it does make progression a little slower because you have to invest into defense and offense and that kind of stuff. So um, I always take that off. I've played before with it, having to like push military. It's not bad. It can be kind of exhilarating at times. It changes the way you progress. It changes the way you do a lot of things, and I'm more of a fan of just having an open world to kind of mess around and expand my factory as I want. I took pollution off because pollution is really only something that affects how the enemies see you. So your various factories will produce pollution, and that is what attracts the biters, which are these enemies here. They are attracted to things that produce pollution, and so having pollution there causes them to, obviously attack you. Well, if we're not having enemies, I don't really care about that. Something else I'd like to have is the research queue availability. This is more of a quality of life thing. By default, it's not on until you get to research everything else, yeah, after the game is finished. I like to have it on at the beginning. I wish it was kind of a default. It's such a nice thing to have to be able to queue up a couple of different researches. It can be somewhat of a liability in some ways because when you're playing this game, if you are trying to kind of throttle how much resources are consumed to produce science packs, then that might be something that you don't really want to have going on automatically because it could kind of drain things for you. But yeah, I think that's what we're going to go for. I need to actually adjust my taskbar settings. Get that down. Less distracting here. Okay, great. All right, so let's take a preview. So the preview is going to take all the settings into account and then try to produce, obviously, what it's going to be trying to look like here. This isn't too bad. Oil's just over here. There's plenty of coal, some stone, and there's some iron and two patches of iron, and then copper. I actually think this will be okay. I could actually, so I had to you had to plan these things out a little bit ahead of time. When you're first playing, you're probably not going to know what you're going to want to do. And I have built, I wouldn't call them mega bases. There are people out there who make what I would consider mega bases, serious mega bases. I have never really done that. I always get to launch a rocket. It's not an issue, but I do like to make it big expansions. And so we were wanting to make like a what's called a bus. So I could easily, um, all the raw stuff can get here and smelted and distributed, and I can run everything straight up. So everything will come out to the right here, out to the left. I expand it right out here, run it up that way. Yeah, it should be able to expand to the left and right. Now I don't have to expand too much to the right and left, because the very first bus, in my opinion, should be for science packs or the production of science packs. So I'll be doing a lot of that, and then I'll probably have a research place set up over here, and then I can garner this and probably move it over here. Now this is going to get in the way. Not the end of the world. There is kind of a lot of water, but there's landfill, so you can fill in the land and make things work that way. I could turn a lot of this into rail stations and then just move stuff somewhere else. Um, this isn't bad, but I think I can do better. So I'm going to randomize the seed and it'll regenerate a new map. Right. So the only issue here is that there's a lot of trees that have to clear out. It's kind of spotty. There's a lot of iron here, decent amount of coal, not a ton of copper, but starting out it's not bad. The problem is there's not a really good way to expand. Let's try a different one. Again, a lot of trees. So trees are great if you're trying to control pollution. They absorb pollution. Um, so it's kind of a defensive tactic to be kind of nestled within forests. It keeps the biters at bay. Um, I tried a different one. This looks promising. Lots of iron. I'm going to do a lot of splitting, but I can expand straight up into an oil field. But maybe this could work. I just run it up there. I got coal patches that would be in the way, but I can run past them and go in either direction, and then just stick to that direction over there. That actually might work out okay. I'm not happy with all that. Let's see if we can't. A little less water. Um, I think it's a little better. The water thing is like, it is useful. So I do employ a mod that produces a water well that lets you kind of produce water anywhere. So I don't really need a lot of water. I do need some to start out with, though. You have to have some to start out with, or else this is what you would do. So I have some here that I could use, but I could just run things straight up. It's hard to avoid all resource patches. There's a lot of oil here. It's fantastic. Guess I could advance somewhere. I'm gonna go for it. I think it'll be okay. There's a decent amount of forest. I can get plenty of wood down there if I need to. Let's go with this one. It's not ideal, but we'll see. There is a little bit of a story to this. This is a free play mode, so the story doesn't necessarily matter, but they do give you like some storage and some, I think, not resource producing things, but like a way of producing things. All right. Normally you just kind of consume these things. Don't really need this, so I'm going to salvage it. I also have like a long range mod on that allows me to not have to be on top of things in order to mine them, or in this case, salvage. A lot of my mods are like quality of life. So I have a thing called Squeak Through. It's an old mod that's been around for a while in this game. And Squeak Through allows you to walk through pipes. I guess I may not have put that mod in. Oh, I bet my mods are all out of date. That's fine. Starting out, it should be fine. I'll enable just the ones I want. All right, so the very first thing we've got to do is we've got to start building up what kind of like the iron or the production of iron. I'm gonna get rid of some of these rocks because some of these rocks will actually give you coal. So if you see under, you'll see over here when I mouse over it, under huge rock, expected resources, 37 coal, 37 stone. So I do expect to get some coal, which is a lot faster than having to sit there and manually mine coal out of a patch like up here. Just because you can sit here and just do this and get 1 coal, 2 coal, you know. So mining these big rocks, if you have them available to you, is fantastic because it gives you, for a lot less time, you get a decent amount of coal, which is what I'm going to need to feed some of my things. The stone is also good because you need it to produce stone furnaces, which are used to make the mining drills. And that's what I need both. I need mining drills to actually pull iron ore out of the patch, and then I need the furnaces to then smelt the iron ore into iron plates. So I've got a decent amount of here. So here's our burner mining drill. So this consumes a burnable fuel, which can be wood. I am going to probably place these guys right here. It's not well, I'm gonna move him over a little bit more. Right there. So you can see on the right here, there's currently no fuel expected resources just from this little patch. Let's get 2x2 is about 9.1k iron from this. Now it takes 2 iron ore to produce a single, well, 1 iron ore to produce a single plate. I don't know where I got 2 from. So now I'm going to actually put down one of these guys. So what's going to happen if you see the small little yellow arrow on the bottom right, when this starts pulling ore out of the ground, it's going to be ejecting that ore right here. That arrow points to. I want it to inject it directly into an adjacent building, which will be this furnace. So the furnace will then take the fuel, and it will produce, takes the fuel, takes the iron ore, and will then produce the result, which will be an iron plate. So I'm going to give him 15, and he'll immediately start moving. And I'll give him 15 so he's ready. So now he's pulling out the ore and dumping it in here. And so it's queuing up in here, and then smelting down and producing an iron plate, which I can then grab. So it's essentially rinse and repeat for a lot of this. I need to get some wood. I think I need some wood. Is that what I need for the... No, but I need one of these. I need more iron plates. But I am going to get some wood because wood is needed for some wooden boxes for storage tier. And I need them because I will be using a little trick. I don't say a trick. It's a little design to produce a lot of coal that I can manually harvest from the box. Well, not from the box. I'm sorry, I'm getting all over the place here. Let's see, I do need one of these. So I'm going to put another one right next to him. Right there. Give him fuel. Fuel. Perfect. Now I've got 2 of these things running and producing. Okay. Iron is honestly the big one. You need iron. So now I've given up all of that. I need to get more of these guys. I'll get him. All right. I'll place him here. I'm actually going to place a box down initially, right there. I'll get him started. What I'll be doing is actually creating burner mining drills to kind of go in a circle, so that they're all kind of producing them, eating each other. I'm going to hit Alt and it'll turn on a preview on the box so I can see when there's stuff there. I do not have enough. 3, perfect. More in there. 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 Alright, I'm going to take that out for now. I'll wait till he finishes this off, and then I will be placing down my 4th burner drill, and then you'll see as they feed each other in a continuous circle. There we go. So now you see the yellow arrows are kind of going in a circle. So I'm going to, let's get him started with that. So what's going to happen is he's going to produce some, drop it into here. He'll produce some, drop it into here. He's going to pull some out of the ground, and he'll drop it into here. He'll continue to pull some of the ground and refuel this guy. And the thing about this is that they'll continuously fuel each other in a continuous circle, but they're actually able to, just for burning a single coal, they're obviously producing several more. So their buffers, their storage buffers, will start to fill up. And when they become overflowed, I will sit here and just grab a bunch of them. And I only need one of them to be producing I need one of these guys to produce one coal and feed it into the next one for the whole system to continue to kind of breed and feed themselves. So I've already have a 10 here, 9, 20, 11. All right, so I only put like 13 in initially, and now I've already bred this many. Let's get some more stuff here. Perfect. Okay. Now I'm going to produce more burner drills. I'm going to put 4 more down and put another set here, because I do need some copper. I'm going to start this now. So copper is needed. In the very beginning, it's not needed like nearly as much, but it is. Well, I guess it is. It's just that like a lot of the recipes do not require a lot of copper at first, and so you usually overproduce a ton of it. But it's good to have some. So we'll get 25 each. Let that guy produce. Right. That should be pretty good. It's a good start. Yeah, that's pretty good, I think. Yeah, see, I took a little too much, but it gets replaced and it'll just be fine. And let's pick up our first copper. This opens up some additional things. So one thing I do need is a lab. I'm going to get that started right now. These guys. Let's see. I really need one of these. Oh, it's out. Okay. An offshore pump. Offshore pump. Okay. So now I need to go find my water, which is just down here. I'm going to lay out, I think I'll expand this way. If I put it right here, that's pretty good. Perfect. Okay, so we'll be needing one of those. Okay, and I need more of these guys. All right, so what we're going to do is, let me think here. Now we're going to expand these directions. I need to set things up ahead of time here. That's where we're going to do that. Means I have got to come down like that. These come through like that. And I'm going to explain here in just a second what I'm trying to do. This one. Okay. I think I'll use this as my offset. All right. All right, so a lot of things just happened. So let me explain. So in order to produce electricity, we will be having the offshore pump, which does not require energy. Fortunately, there was an April Fool's joke by the developers where they were saying that one of the changes in the upcoming patch was going to be requiring that the offshore pump require electricity, which completely kills the ability to do anything in the game if it did that. So the offshore pump does not require electricity. What it will do is it will pull water out of this body, and it will feed it in through these pipes. And the water comes into these boilers. Now the boilers are going to receive water, and then they are going to attempt to boil the water to create steam, and it's going to force the steam into the steam engine, which will allow the steam engine to move its turbines and therefore create electricity. And so these guys will actually produce electricity once they have that steam. The boilers can only make the steam if they have water and if they receive fuel source, in this case either wood or coal. So what I have to do is I have to transport coal along a transport belt. And when it gets to here, these inserters will simply take the coal off of the belt and feed it into the boiler, which is constantly getting water. As you can see here, the pipe to ground has 100 units of water. And it consumes water, so you can see it's got water in its reserves and it's all ready to go. It just needs to consume a burnable fuel and then it'll generate steam. So once this happens, it'll just continue to happen and happen, and these will produce. Now, so long as I'm constantly feeding it coal. So this is a very simple setup. This does actually scale. So a single offshore pump can deliver enough to feed 20 boilers. So I'm going to have 10 boilers and 10 boilers to get 20. It also feeds 40 steam engines. These are the ratios that we're dealing with. So I will have, you know, 10 and a second set. I'll have another steam engine up here going across. So that will give me, 20 on one side, 20 on the other, 40. It's, I think it comes in just under optimal, but you can't put like a 41, it would kill it. And if you put just 39, it's not enough. So 40 is a pretty good ratio. Now I've been using that ratio for a long time. It's very possible that the patches have since changed some things, and that may no longer be true, and I'm going to find out. Because it'll tell you, like, if a thing is underwatered or whatever. So I'll know if that ratio still holds. I don't remember reading anything where it said it no longer held. So I'm going to operate under the assumption that it's still good. Checking some of these guys for coal. There's some over here. Do that. All right, thanks for joining me on this episode of the Factorio playthrough. I really hope that you will join me in the next one and just kind of follow my progression on the game. Thanks.